Winston Churchill said, "Success demands greater effort." And we live in a world where it's really easy to get distracted. And I'm not just talking about the phone, TikTok, or social media. I'm also talking about the vices. I'm talking about the parties. I'm talking about anything that detracts from your greater purpose. And when I say that, I'm not saying having fun is evil. I'm not saying doing other things is going to get you killed. But what I'm saying is it's easy to be distracted, and way easier to be distracted than it is to work on something meaningful. Work on something that's going to bring you close to what you want to be. You know, becoming your best self, becoming your greatest self is not easy. I think we internalize that this is the truth, but we don't always recognize that this is the truth. We know it's going to be hard, and as a result, what do? Other stuff. We get distracted. Because who wants to do hard work? I don't. I don't want to do hard work a lot of the times, because it's hard. If I could be sitting on my phone scrolling, watching YouTube videos, Corey Kenshin, whatever he drops, whenever he drops, or scrolling through TikTok, whatever, I'll be much more entertained than if I, say, look something up for a couple of hours to only have an idea to get started on something. I'm gonna have to work through and work through and work through. That's hard. And that's choosing hard too. Choosing the more difficult pathway, obviously, is not as easy. But when you start to move the distractions out, when you start to realize that those distractions are really detracting from you, your best self, but not even that, like your strongest self, the self that you're proud of, because you're only getting better or you're getting worse. There's no in between. At any point in time, you're either getting better or getting worse. The rate might be negligible at times. Like if you're sleeping, I would argue you're getting better because you're getting more rest and your brain's doing repairs and all that stuff. But obviously you're not working on an assignment while you're sleeping. So I guess the downside there would be negligible, if any, but more upside. That's kind of a bad example. What I'm saying is you're either getting better or you're getting worse. And when we choose to get worse, especially when it's easier, like choose to be distracted, choose to just waste our potential and talent, that's hard. That's hard because that's going against your best self. That's going against what you want for yourself. We say we want all these things. We have these big goals, these big dreams. And then we sit down at home. We get a minute of free time to ourselves. And what do we choose to do? I know more often than not, I will admit that I've chosen to do nothing. And I've been worse off for it. I have. Missing scholarship deadlines because I didn't want to do the extra day of work that it took to submit the actual scholarship, or not studying for that test early enough because even though I had free time, I had plenty of time, right? But then suddenly stuff came up and then I didn't have plenty of time. And it's easy to find those excuses as well and say, well, how was I supposed to know? That can't be my fault. And I guess what we have to realize is that tomorrow's not promised. Next 3 hours of your life are not promised. And you don't know what could ever come up. You don't. And so we have to work with what we have when we have it. It's not always a guarantee that we'll have power in one day to record videos like these. Lightning could happen, some crazy outage, some random crazy person could drive into the power bank for the city and wreck everything. You never know. Unlikely, but you never know. But the point is, if you have the time and energy now, then work. Do something with it. There will come times when you're tired, when you really need a break, and you say, I just don't have it in me. You work now so that when that happens, when that inevitably happens, when you get tired, when things get hard, you can say, I deserve a break. You can say, I benefit from taking this time off. I benefit from resting. And it's not just like frying my brain all day. It's actual rest. You know, TikTok, Instagram, social media, that's all cool. I talk about it a lot. That's all cool. I mean, I talk about it a lot because it's most entertaining. But reading a book never killed anybody. And you learn a lot from reading a book. You also learn how to digest information and critical think in different ways. And I argue that that's also relaxing. Maybe not as stimulating, but relaxing. See, it's finding things like that. Those are the little 1%, 2% changes that build up over time, because success is never going to be one decision. It's going to be an accumulation of decisions that you made. Decisions that were inevitably going to bring you closer to what you wanted to be. You know? It was never one thing. That choice to go to the gym that one Thursday afternoon was only the start, because you had to go back Friday, had to go back Saturday, and maybe you took a month off. But then you remember how much you liked it. You read a book, you saw something on TV, you got back into it. That's real. But consistency builds empires. Once we've pushed those distractions out the way, it's about becoming more consistent with it. How in the world can we possibly make this a system? That's how we want to think about it. How can we integrate this into our lives? Because we don't want to have to actively think about it. Imagine like going to the gym every single day, forcing yourself, like sheer willpower, like you just hate it, you resent it. You couldn't do that every single day for like a week sustainably. Well, I'd say very few. And it might start like that. It might. But eventually, it integrates into your daily life. Eventually, you don't think about it. Eventually, I have my workout routine that I looked up on ChatGPT or whatever, wherever you got it from. And I just go and I do it. And I do it when I can. And then eventually, you don't have to think about it. You just do it every day. It's building those habits. Again, those 1%, 2% changes that make us better. That even if we have a horrible day, we know that we will get closer to what we intend to become. We'll be better. Not a complete loss of a day. Even if we want to scroll for half the day, you know, you get into the gym, you do a little extra work on the side, and you always have a justification. Now we can always improve. We can always get more consistent. And getting better is ultimately about removing distractions and removing what doesn't work. It's not really about doing the best thing possible at all times. It's about removing the things that detract, the negative points, if you will. That's really big. And so when we finally get into our flow, finally make the systems and build, to what end? Because recently, it's been testing season. It's a lot going on. A lot. 3 AP exams back to back. Physics C, mechanics, Physics C, electromagnetism, AP environmental science. That was nice. That was a nice break for me. But I still had to get up early, you know. It's been a lot. And, you know, when you're running and running and running, I found that I just didn't have as much time as I wanted to dedicate to myself, you know? I had really started to slow down from a lot of the things that had gotten me to this point. And, you know, thinking back on it, there was a me that was very skinny, and wanted to get into the gym because I had to look impressive, you know? Had to move for the girls, I'm not gonna lie. Had to move for the girls. That was a time, younger me, who had to get it together. Who had to learn how to dress. Who thought getting cologne, all that stuff, was gonna get me right. And I mean, those are those little changes. Those 1%, those 2%. And I'm benefiting from that right now. Right now, right this instant. At no point am I not benefiting from something that I did however long ago? And no matter what, I would respect myself for that, because it wasn't easy. No one can ever take that work away from you. The work that you do for yourself is meaningful. It's very meaningful. And don't forget that. You are worth it. You are worth every bit of effort that you put in for yourself. And you deserve it because you work for it. No one can take that away from you. Work to impress yourself every single day. A lot of times we think we know ourselves so well. Recently I had rediscovered that is not true. So keep working. But don't forget to take breaks as well. But let me go in on that break part again, because break is not shutting your brain off and doom scrolling and getting distracted. You're worse off for that, because that takes mental energy and it scatters your focus. How are you supposed to critically think or solve problems when you're thinking about parts of 7 different other things that don't even really matter, you know? Taking a proper break requires you to let your brain relax, let yourself be creative. So for the artists out there, the people who like to write, the people who, have something to say, orators, something that is, I dare say, away from the devices, whenever you can, away from the devices, and tapping into who you are as a person, how you want to express yourself, how you want to show up. And some people need to find that, and I'll probably talk more about that in different videos, just some ways to connect with yourself at that deeper level. We hear meditation get dropped around everywhere, journaling, mantras, what's another buzzword that people use? Manifesting, whatever that means. I was not about that when I was younger, getting into the self-improvement space. So I'll talk more about some stuff that worked for me in the future. But it's about finding that thing that works for you. We're all different. Everyone's pathway looks different. And that's okay. That's okay, because who's it for? It's for you. It's for you. And don't forget that it's for you. That's the thing. You can't forget who you're doing it for. You can't forget the why. And we will get lost at times. It's easy to get lost at times. Very easy to get lost at times. My goodness. With all the distractions, and when it's up to you, when it's always up to you, sometimes that mood change or this bad day can influence, how we want to move forward, basically. But let's let the main thing be the main thing. You had a goal, you thought about it, prayed about it. You did whatever shadow work that led you to this decision. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes that why isn't strong enough anymore. Sometimes that why isn't going to carry me to the next phase of life. So we need to find those new things that are important to us. Find those new things that are meaningful, that we want to work for, that we want to work hard for, that is worth working hard for. And we go after the next thing. We find the why. But why are we doing this? Finding your why, my goodness, requires a whole nother video. And that's something you can't teach. I can't teach you what's inside of your heart. I can't teach you what you really want out of life. But hopefully, I can give you some perspective that helps you figure out what you want for yourself. And so I will never tell you how to want something for yourself. I'll not tell you what to want for yourself. You shouldn't let anybody else tell you what you should want for yourself. But hopefully, I can grant you perspective. And you can do the work yourself. And you will. Because you want more. You want more than the bare minimum. You want more than average. You want to be happy, I'm sure. And many of us also want that success piece too. So I'm telling you, it's important to connect with yourself. Never forget to take care of yourself. Never forget to work hard. And never forget to know why you're working. And then you can truly go after what really matters to you, what's really meaningful to you, and you will succeed. I wish you all the best. Y'all take care.